This is going to be an explanation video for the Portal Inbounds run that was done at AGDQ between me and Connor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the route that you saw me go through at AGDQ, and I'm going to explain things in a bit more detail in case some things were not clear. So the first thing we just did there is we just loaded a plugin called SPT. This is just going to allow us to put on this command, SPT y_y_ SPT overlay 1. Which will give us a overlay in the top left. You'll kind of know what it's for later, and I'm going to put this command off because I don't want it. And I'm going to load it in just at regular chamber 0. So, getting into the run, the first thing that we did is we just kind of waited in here in the test chamber for a minute. Just kind of did whatever. There's not really anything to do in this part. There is actually a vault skip that we can do if we are a tool-assisted run and also doing out of bounds, but one, it's too difficult to do even in out of bounds. Also, we can't do it at all because it requires going out of bounds, and this is inbounds. So we're just gonna wait. Normally in runs, we actually don't have to wait in this vault. We can do something called a vault save, which allows us to skip to 53 seconds into the run, so that we don't have to wait through this every time we reset a run, because this game's very reset heavy and there's a lot of retrying, doing things over and over again because this game's hard. So, in the route that I'm going for, I'm going to be picking up this radio and bringing it with me. So just going to wait for the portal to open. And the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the BSG, the button save glitch that we did in 0001. Or in 01 specifically during GDQ. So basically how this works is that if we want to show it off with the cube, basically we can trick the game into thinking that the button is still being pressed down by the cube. How we do this is that when we remove the cube, there's a tick where the cube is not on the button, but the button is still pressed down. If we save load on that tick, the button will remain pressed down and we'll be able to go into 01, bringing the cube with us through here or something like that. But what we do in 01 is we actually do a trick called BSG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the cube so I can make the button come back up again. Also, basically how this works is that we're taking the item off the button and the game is never really realizing that we did take the item off because the button kind of has to unpress, but it currently thinks that the cube is on it even though it isn't. Which is why if we stand on it, it's not going to come back. But if we put the cube back on it, it will come back up. So, if we take the radio, what we can do is we could use our body as the weight to stand on top of the button. And then, basically, if we hold backwards and we start save loading, the game is going to think that the radio is pushing us off the button. But because we're doing it while save loading, the game will never have a tick in order to actually unpress the button. So if we do that, do a couple save loads, the button will remain pressed down. And similarly before how we couldn't unpress the button, the cube will not be able to unpress the button in this scenario. So we're just going to go into 01 and we're going to be doing pretty much the same thing. Messing up some ABHs in the process. And to quickly explain ABH, I don't know how well we explained it in the run because I'm doing this before I left for AGDQ. But basically, ABH is the result of Valve wanting to patch out bunny hopping from the source engine. If you watch a run called Half-Life 2 on the old engine, you'll see that they have forwards bunny hopping in that game. Valve wanted to patch that out of the orange box engine, so they basically made it so that when you go above a certain speed limit, the game's going to push you backwards. But if you look behind you, then backwards is exactly the direction you're wanting to go, so we just use that to build up a really, really crazy high amount of speed. Anyway, in 01, we're just going to be grabbing this radio and falling down and doing the same BSG that we did before, where we walk off the button and save load a couple times. The game thinks that we're no longer on the game thinks that we're still on the button, if we do it correctly this time. And now the button is, pressed down even though we're not standing on it. Normally what this would mean is that you could skip the cycle of waiting for this portal to open to grab that cube. But we took a bit too long to do it, so we're just going to have to go back on this side and go ahead anyway. Ignore that. We're just going to kind of wait for the cycle again because I'm a bit of a dummy. Having a bit of fun with the radio. So now that we are going to be going into Chamber 2, we're going to be introducing Save Glitch, which is really the meat and potatoes of Portal Inbounds. The thing that everyone thinks about, the thing that everyone gets crazy over because it's super confusing and super crazy. So getting our way over here, we're just going to be waiting for GLaDOS to stop talking, which will cause the door to open. While this is happening, the blue portal gun is rotating around. And basically, by the time GLaDOS stops talking, the portal will just have shot onto this wall, which will allow us to make our way over. You can see the overlay on the top is freaking out a little. So we're going to now ABH our way through, grab the portal gun, and immediately fall down here, and then do something called a portal peek by shooting onto this wall. So we grab the portal gun, shoot here so we can get here as quickly as possible. Because it would take longer, it takes a lot less time to just shoot there and walk through than it would be to walk or do some sort of cool movement to get over there. So we do that. And then we shoot a portal right up here, which will allow us to get stuck on it right about here. And if we save load when we get stuck on it, we can remain stuck on it. And basically what this will do is this will disjoint our camera and hitbox. So this is where the overlay at the top left comes in. Currently, the camera is situated where it should be, but my overlay is currently showing where my body actually is. We can actually use the overlay to find new save glitches and show off how save glitch kind of works. So as you can see on the overlay, I'm looking at walls that I can normally shoot a portal on, but if I make my camera go lower, I should be able to shoot a portal on this floor here, but my camera is looking at the unportable wall in front of me, so it is not letting me shoot down there. And you can see through the overlay and through the little blue sparks over there where the portal is actually landing in physics. So what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be walking back into the elevator, looking down, and for this one we have to look at a roughly 115-degree angle. If you look at the CL show pause in the top right, the second number is the number we're looking at, and we shoot a portal. This moves our blue portal, which also changes our save glitch position. So now what we can do is we can walk forward, and if we look down, as you can see, this changes our orientation to looking on the wall right behind us. So what we will do is we will walk forward, shoot and jump, and what happens sometimes is you'll fall out of bounds because the floor right in front of us will disappear. We want to try that again. We shoot below us and jump over here where the floor does exist, because basically when you're this close to the orange portal, you are no longer save glitched. There's basically a little box around the portal that if you stand in, you're safe from falling down through the world. And as soon as we walk through this portal, the game will kind of remember where everything is supposed to be and unsave glitch us permanently. So we can walk through the portal, and now we're unsave glitched. What we're now going to do is do 3 more portal peaks to get to the end of the chamber as quickly as possible. Walking into the elevator, making our way to chamber 4. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to immediately start ABHing. And we can maybe get gap jump, but we messed it up there, but whatever. So now what we're going to be doing is doing another save glitch. This time we're going to set up the save glitch on this wall right here and walk over it and immediately save load. This now puts our body position about right up there, and it'll also basically make this door not exist, so we can walk right through it. Next, we want to shoot our blue portal roughly down there. This will basically put our save glitch portal back down there, so now we are not save glitched, so we can just ABH over the gap and make our way into the elevator to get to chamber 5. Now, basically what happens now is that when we went through the fizzler, it got rid of our blue portal, but not our orange portal. What happens when you only have one portal open after you save glitch on it is it will temporarily disable your save glitch. So now, if we go through here, we're not going to fall through the floor anywhere, but as soon as we shoot our portal on this blue wall, our save glitch will be reactivated, and we can just walk right through this door, similarly to what we just did in chamber 4. The orange portal back in the main chamber 5 there closes off, So now we can kind of walk through it, and as you can see, when I shot my blue portal, that orange portal was open still, so it kind of messed me up. Made me fall through the world. Let's see. Okay, this works. So we're just gonna make our way through this door, and what I'm gonna be trying to show off here is a skip that Connor and I probably were going for in our race, where you basically save glitch on that wall, and you do the similar thing where you basically ABH back and shoot a blue portal in order to change your save glitch position, and then hit the fizzler so that you kind of temporarily unsave glitch yourself. You'll see that this will make us kind of fly through the ceiling there, and if we time this correctly, we can jump through this door, which I did not do correctly there, but you can kind of get the idea. This will allow us to get into chamber 6, where we're going to immediately ABH to the back here and shoot a blue portal on the ceiling right above us. This is going to allow us to jump right through the portal, except not like that, like this. Jump right through the portal and get to the end of the chamber, skipping the puzzle.
Please be careful.
Moving on to chamber 6, we're going to be doing a very similar skip in order to make our way through. Also, ignore the overlay in these sections. It basically always assumes that we are save glitch, even though we aren't in this scenario. So we're going to shoot the ceiling right up here, do a similar fling through this portal, to get to the end of chamber 7. Chamber 8 is a very movement intensive chamber and one of the most notorious in this run, mainly for a trick called ABH over goo. I'm going to be trying to show it off here, but for one thing I have to explain is toggle duck. So toggle duck is just a command in the console where if you activate it, will basically make you crouch even if you're not holding any weapon, or buttons, excuse me. So what this does is actually does a few interesting things for movement purposes. Basically, if we toggle duck and then jump, if we toggle duck in the air and then jump as soon as we land, it will immediately uncrouch us. What this allows us to do is it allows us to remain crouched for all of the time that is optimal, because you gain a bit more ABHing speed when you're crouching than you would while standing, but then allows us to gain extra height by uncrouching us in the air, allowing us to get a higher Y position. Doing this in this chamber after 2 ABHs perfectly positions you to jump right over this railing in order to land on the platform all the way over there, ABHing off of that platform, deflecting off of this orb receiver over to the other side of the platform. So reloading here in order to allow us to actually be able to do that, we're going to be doing 2 ABHs followed by a toggle duck, messing up because this trick's a bit tricky. And then deflecting off of the orb receiver to get to the other side of the platform, allowing us to move on to chamber 9. If you saw us mess that up, what might have happened was maybe we went too fast and hit the railing here. So we just did a quick portal peek up here, jumped off of that little jut off the wall, and made our way into the elevator, allowing us to get to chamber 9. Only 2 more chambers left in what I consider to be the early game. Chamber 9 and Chamber 10 both have some interesting things going on in them that you may have seen during the race. So let us see. So Chamber 9, what we do is a simple ABH sequence to get through the fizzler as fast as possible if we do it correctly. Let's try that one more time. There we go. And basically, what you can do in this chamber is if you do not shoot your portal in the dead center of this door, the portal will not go away when you step off the button. So what you can actually do is if you shoot kind of to the side like that, you can get through the portal on one end and then jump through to get through the portal on the other end, allowing you to skip the puzzle for chamber 9. We then just ABH right into the elevator so we can get going into chamber 10. Okay. So chamber 10 has a notorious trick that you may have heard of but probably didn't see called door launch. We're gonna try to get door launch going right here. But could take me a little while to actually pull it off because it is a pretty hard trick, which is why most likely Connor and I did not get it during our race. So might have to take a few tries to reload this in order to actually get door launch. But basically this is a strat where if you get perfect ABHs and a perfect angle off of the side of the door here, you can fling to the top of chamber 10 and skip doing the fling puzzle in order to actually make it up there, which saves roughly 5 seconds on average, but can save anywhere from 3 seconds to 7 or 8 seconds. It's, as you can see, pretty tricky to actually get down because I've been reloading on this for a while. Mainly because pretty much everything has to go perfectly in order for you to be able to get it. So we could be here for a little bit longer. If it is that much longer, I'll probably cut the video until I actually get it. Because I don't want to have a boring sequence of me doing this for like 5 minutes. If it does end up taking me that long. Because I am not the best at this trick. Definitely other people who are more consistent than me. There we go. So you can fling up to the top, and then you can skip the puzzle, which is normally you having to do some flings to get to the top. Moving on to Chamber 11 is when we get the dual portal device, which allows us to do a lot more complicated save glitching, because we can decide where both of our save portals are, which gives us a lot more freedom in how we save glitch. So the first thing we're going to do is called an ASH, which is or AFH, excuse me, which is a accelerated forward hop, as opposed to accelerated back hopping, which is what ABH is. So basically, if you hold S in the air when you already have some momentum, the game will think that you're going backwards, so it will give you forward speed, even though you are going forwards, and ABH only really works going backwards. This allows us to skip over this water here to very quickly grab the dual portal device while keeping our blue portal in the main test chamber. What we then do is shoot an orange portal roughly at this line to get through here, and then do a quick portal peek to get to the top of the chamber, and then set up a save glitch here so we can do a soft wall save glitch, which is essentially when you run into a portal and let your traction kind of let you slam against the wall, because if you hit W here, you'll end up going through the portal. You let go of W right before you hit the wall and let your traction slam you into the wall without having you go through. You then hit A and then save load in order to get save glitched. What this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to reshoot our save glitch portal here, and then shoot a bunch of orange portals in order to make our way to the end of the chamber, allowing us to skip a majority of chamber 11 and 12. This is what I call the save glitch part of the run, where pretty much every chamber except for 2, in the rest of the run, we're going to be doing some sort of save glitch. So, this is chamber 13. The first save glitch we do, we set up in these 2 corners, save and load, and as you can see, actually, this one's a little bit messed up because you actually have to change the overlay, so I'm actually just going to shoot the opposite portals here so that you can actually tell what's going on. So the first thing we do is we look in over here, which in the overlay you see is basically right about there, and reshoot our portal that we save glitched on, which in this case is blue. And then we turn around. It actually doesn't reload that entirely. And if we aim a little bit to the left of our center view, we can shoot orange first one time, and then aim a little bit to the right so that we are not aiming at the fizzler to shoot orange again. And then you walk to the side and shoot down in order to fall through a portal and get to the end of chamber 13. Again, if you're confused about any of these, just rewatch the save glitches in slow motion, but paying attention to the top left corner of the screen in order to actually see what is going on with them. Chamber 14, we just do a simple fling to get to the very end. There's nothing that could really be faster than this except for doing it correctly instead of messing it up. There's not really any save glitch that we could do that could speed up this chamber, so this chamber is pretty safe from not getting save glitch. Chamber 15, not that lucky. We're going to be save glitching our way through chamber 15 and making sure that we get to the end of the game awfully quickly. Sorry about that delay. Anyway, we set up our save glitch off here. An interesting thing about this save glitch is it does something called a portal bump, where normally if you just shoot this wall here, it would be hard to actually make it so that you could get stuck on the portal. But if you shoot into the blue portal, this will basically push the orange portal closer to the blue portal than it is right here, which allows us to actually finally get save glitch on the portal, which allows us to do all the crazy stuff that we're about to do. Although I want to quickly redo this because I want to save glitch on blue instead of orange in order to make it easier to show off. So the first thing we're going to do is walk past our portals so that we're no longer save glitch, and then shoot it and walk behind our portals again. This resets our blue portal position, which allows us to shoot blue again. Oh, whoops. Let me actually reset this one more time because I accidentally... There we go. Save glitch on blue. shoot orange ahead of us, walk behind the portal to reshoot the orange, walk back here so that we're on the other side of the glass and shoot downward, which will put our portal on that wall. And we aim this direction in order to shoot a portal into this room. We walk to the right so that we clip through to the other side of the portal and shoot another orange portal on the ceiling, pretty much adjacent to this black line here. Turn around and look at this wall, shoot another orange, shoot an orange at the top of this part here, do a diagonal jump with blue in order to get us into this room, and then shoot our orange portal on the ceiling there so that if we don't mess up, come on, we got this. We can set ourselves up to do a cool ASH setup to get to the end of the map. So we're just going to do that one more time because this one's super complicated. So we're going to shoot our portals onto the wall like so. Save glitch off of them. And then shoot. Expose ourselves so that when we shoot, our portal goes where we want it to. Reshoot it so it gets a better angle. Go to the ground and shoot to get on it on that wall. Go through here to get it on that wall. Go through here to get it on that wall. Keep going. You got it. You're getting the gist of it now. You're a smart boy. Making our way to the end, letting us get into Chamber 16. Now, Chamber 16 increases the complexity of the run by an even larger amount. If you could not believe that already, that this run's going to get even more complicated. So, what we're going to do immediately at the start of this chamber is do that portal bump we mentioned last chamber, to get our orange portal on the other side of the ceiling here, which will skip GLaDOS's really long voice line. We walk through our portal and set up another save glitch portal in order to allow us to get to the end of the chamber right away. You think that we just head into the elevator and go away, but we're actually going to do something a bit different than that. We're going to drop this turret so that we can kill it, and then set up a save glitch so that we can get onto here, get a blue portal at the ceiling, and then get down here so that we can shoot a orange portal on the floor of the elevator that is right there. We then walk back to the other side so that we can reshoot our blue portal. And we're going to walk through, jump so we can hit the bottom of the elevator, which will activate it. And then we fall back through and save glitch again so that we can get inside of the elevator. And then shoot our portals in a way so that they get under the turret, which will bring the turret under the elevator, allowing us to bring it with us into Chamber 17. You might be thinking, why are we wasting so much time trying to preserve this turret? Well, what this is actually going to do for us is it's going to allow us to preserve our save glitch into the next chamber. So we are still save glitched because we still have that portal that is at the bottom of the elevator over there. What we can end up doing is we can reshoot our orange portal on the wall here and then fly right through this glass here, which normally, obviously, is solid, allowing us to get to the end of Chamber 17 right away and not have us go through the really long hallways and silly stuff like that we normally would have to deal with. Now, an interesting thing about this turret is that the turret in the game's code is actually named Cube. Like, in the game's code, this turret is just called a cube. Normally, turrets cannot push down buttons, but this turret is special because it can. They wanted you to be able to use this turret and other turrets in Chamber 16 to push down buttons in order to make the chamber have a bit more of an intuitive feel to it. But we can use this instead of the companion cube to allow us to get to the end of the chamber. And what we're going to be doing is trying to do that BSG trick we mentioned at the very beginning of the run, so that we can get the turret to incinerate much quicker than if we just brought it back and forth between the button. So thankfully, we can very easily get through Chamber 17 without having to go through pretty much any of it, thanks to our 16 save glitch preserve and bringing the turret with us into Chamber 17. Now what we're going to be doing in Chamber 18 is, you guessed it, another save glitch. So, setting this one up, pretty simple. And once you look at the thing, this is going to be called the blind save glitch setup, where we're just going to be basically doing everything in this hallway here. I'm going to quickly restart this so that I can do it on a better overlay, so that you guys can understand what is going on by looking at the top left. So shooting here, then shooting up here onto the ceiling, looking down so that we can line up a portal right in front of that door, looking up a bit so that we can, or excuse me, looking forward so that we can get a portal onto the ceiling of that far room over there. And then we're going to be walking backwards so that we head into this room so we can shoot a portal as high as we can onto this wall. So now, when we walk back into here, we can reshoot our blue portal over here, which will change our position when we go onto this platform. What we can then do is shoot a orange portal or blue portal onto here, which will once again change our save glitch position. And now we will have a small window where we're just kind of randomly up here so that we can reshoot our orange portal, immediately save load to cancel our save glitch, and then head our way through to the end of the chamber. Now we're going into the escape sequence of the game, which is the most complicated by a pretty considerable amount. Next chamber is the shortest chamber of the game, chamber 19. The best time on this chamber is 12.5 seconds. The next shortest chamber is, I believe, about 20. So this is pretty by far the shortest chamber of the game, and it's due to a trick called large angle glitch. So, large angle glitch is basically a trick that when you put a portal on a large angled surface, for instance that one over there, when you jump through it and you get uncrouch when you're in between this blue portal up here and you shoot the portal that you're going into, you'll get stuck inside of this portal. And the game wants to get you unstuck, so it has a very complicated way of doing that called the unstuck code. And the basic thing that will occur as a result of the unstuck code is that we will teleport horizontally throughout this map. What this is going to do to us is it's going to teleport us into the goo right under here, allowing us to get about halfway through the chamber. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shoot an orange portal to get back into the main room that we were in before. Our blue portal's already on this wall, but we're going to reshoot it just to make sure, and then we're going to save glitch on this portal. What this is going to allow us to do is get onto a platform in the chamber 9 sort of section of chamber 19, which will allow us to set up another lag, which will allow us to get right to the end of the chamber. Going through that one more time a bit more slowly, we're just going to be setting up our first large angle glitch, which is going to teleport us into the goo over here. We swim out of the goo, and then get our way back into the main room, putting an orange portal on the back wall over here. We save glitch off of these two portals, using the save glitch to get on top of this platform here so that we can reset up another lag, allowing us to get to the very end of the chamber, skipping what could have been the longest map in the game. What we're then going to do is, once again, another save glitch. So this is one of the more recent save glitches, where we're going to be setting it up off of this wall right here. The first shot we're going to be shooting is, excuse me, let me actually once again reset this up so that I can have the overlay work. I want to get around to the portal, there we go. I'm just going to do this. And let's try that one more time. Gonna kind of jump our way down here. Try that one more time. Okay, just jump our way down here. There we go. Reset up the save glitch. Basically, the overlay will only work on whatever portal you save glitch on. So we'll have to use the blue portal because our overlay is currently set onto the blue portal setting. But anyway, now that we're save glitched on this portal, it is putting us on the other side of that wall, so we can shoot our orange portal up here to get it onto the ceiling. We then immediately turn around, and although it looks like we're out of bounds, we can just barely get a portal onto a wall that is over, into like a little room that is over there. We then look down and reshoot our blue portal so that we can change our position to be a bit further down. And then we're going to shoot our orange portal onto the wall that is up there, reshooting our blue portal here so that we can get back into that position we were in before, walking through this wall so that we can readjust our orange portal, and then we're going to look down at about a 137-degree angle in order to set it up so that we can make our way to the end of the chamber. So we're going to do that one more time because I messed it up. That's the real reason, but this one's a bit complicated. Just kind of keep watching the overlay. It doesn't really help for this one that much, but it kind of can clear things up a little bit. Get our orange portal up here. Look at about 137, and then walk down. And it will take us right to the end of the chamber, allowing us to go to EO1 without having to do any sort of portal peek things that we had to do before. So now for EO1, we're going to be ABHing our way back here and then doing a strafe jump to get to this door right away. We're going to be putting our orange portal on that wall to the left of the line so that we can set up a save glitch. Crouch our way back into this room so that we can shoot a blue portal to readjust where we start a save glitch. We're then going to line ourselves up in order to hit these couple shots. ABHing back, shooting the ground here, walking forward, shooting these two walls, and then making our way into the last map of the run, Escape 2. Now, Escape 2 has a similar trick to large angle glitch called acute angle glitch, where it is the same in execution and how it looks, but instead of doing it off of an obtuse angle, you're doing it off an acute angle, which changes it a little bit because it will teleport us vertically and horizontally instead of just horizontally. So we're going to be basically jumping through this portal, reshooting our blue portal so that we get stuck in the one that we're coming through, and then uncrouching in the air, which will allow us to kind of get stuck, and the game will teleport us in order to get us unstuck, like so. If we can do it correctly. This one's a bit trickier because you have less ticks than normal in order to do it, a tick being a unit of time, because if you do it too quickly, this door will open up, and we can't have that because we need to do another AAG later on in this map. That time we did it correctly. This door will not open up, so now we can ABH back to the back of this room. Put an orange portal on this ground so that we can set up our second AAG, which will take us right into GLaDOS's chamber. We can then take this turret through with us into GLaDOS's chamber, and basically, this turret can shoot all the cores off of GLaDOS, meaning we can skip the entire GLaDOS fight and just get all the cores together before she even drops her purple core, which will allow us to pretty much skip everything this fight ever could have been in Inbounds. So we're going to grab all the cores together, and then we're going to do a strat called core fall skip, so we can skip the cores falling down. Gotta shoot them all in, and that'll be the run. So, I hope that this video helped at least somewhat with kind of clearing things up about this run. I will be more than willing to answer questions either on my stream or in the description of this video, or excuse me, in the comments of this video. Well, my game crashed, so that's unique. I've never actually had to do that. I don't actually know what this crash message is, but I'm sure I'm going to ask someone about it because that is actually pretty interesting. Anyway. Thank you for watching. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me in my chat, on stream, or in the comments of this video, and I'll be trying my best to clear things up to make this run make a bit more sense to you.